Hey guys, Sensei Phil here at Chosen Martial Arts. I wanted to lead you through the tactical guide for the Warrior 30 challenge, okay? So hopefully you've downloaded this by now. If you have not yet, go ahead, go to chosenmaa.com/warrior30 and scroll down, you'll be able to download this tactical guide. Now, I encourage you to get a hard copy of this, so print it out at home, at your library, go to, I don't think they have Kinko's anymore, do they? FedEx or UPS or whatever. Anyway, get it printed out. Get a hard copy of it for yourself so that you can actually start writing into it and actually make it useful. Okay, so first page over here is going to be the Warrior 30 Challenge Tracker. Now, go ahead and take a look at this. This is where you are going to hold yourself accountable, okay? So, many years ago, Jerry Seinfeld in an interview was asked, you know, how is it that you are as good as you are? Something to that effect. And he said, well, I have a calendar, like just an old calendar, one of those wall calendars, and every day I have to do some work in terms of my comedy. And every time I do that work, I put a big X in the box on that particular day, and my goal is to not break the chain. So X, 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 and he doesn't want to break the chain. So that's what we have in mind when we put this thing together over here, okay? So the first one here, start date. Now, start date is up to you. Officially, our Warrior 30 challenge starts on a particular day, in this case on the 13th of January, but that might be different for you. Maybe it's such that, oh, you didn't hear about the challenge until a week or two later on. Well, that's your start date, all right, whenever you're gonna start it. The only thing on that is that if you wanted to do the workouts with us here, in particular, if you're not a current member of Chosen, you're part of our local community and you wanted to train with us up to 2 times a week in either our Krav Maga programs or BJJ, well, we're only offering that for the month starting, the 30 days starting January 13th until mid-February. But if you start on February 1st, you've got 2 weeks to train with us, and then you can complete the rest of your 30 days doing training in another skill or at another place, or if you wanted to sign up with us for a regular program, okay? In any case, that's the start date. The end date obviously is gonna be when you finish your particular challenge, okay? One thing about the challenge you'll find is it's very individualized, okay? It's not something where like, okay, here's the thing that everybody that signed up to this is going to do. The general concept of what you're trying to hit up, challenging yourself in mind, body, and spirit, that's going to be pretty much the same for everybody in terms of the approach, but the actual way that's implemented, that's completely up to you, all right? So that's one of the other things that makes it a bit more challenging with this Warrior 30 as opposed to other ones, is that it's putting you much more into the driver's seat. So you have to take a bit more ownership, a bit more self-awareness in order to do this challenge, okay? So here is you'll see on the tables over here, mind, body, spirit. What are the things that you're doing for your mind on that day, in your for your body on that day, spirit on that day, and I'll get into those in a little bit more detail in just a little bit, right? The next one here is your skill training. So ideally, you add 2 hours per week where you're training in a new skill. Now, what does that mean? It means you're trying to, improve upon something even more than you're already doing. So, for example, for any of our chosen members here, maybe they come and half hour before class or stay a half hour afterwards with a friend or partner, and they work on a few more techniques. It could be that, like, you know what, I want to learn a language. So maybe you download an app and you do that, but you do that for another 2 hours for the week. Maybe you sign up for lessons. I don't know what that is, but you're trying to improve your level of skill in something even more in the next in the 30 days. So the skill could be something that you're already interested in. It could be a new skill that you're like, hey, this is the time for me to try this new thing now, okay? And then for the meetup, our encouragement is that you attach a community of your own to this challenge, so you're just not out by yourself. Now, if it's such that you're in some remote location, or you don't have any friends or family that are taking part that are near you, maybe you reach out to some folks that you know that are in a different city or country or whatever it might be, and you have a little accountability group amongst yourselves, right? And then you meet up on Zoom, or you kind of call each other, you get our conference, a meeting once a week or whatever, but kind of just to help support each other. If you are in your local area, then you can kind of get together once a week. Maybe you choose, okay, after church on Sundays, and we're going to get together, talk about our challenges, with the WARRIOR30, and what we're looking forward to, and kind of help each other out. If you're here locally to us, this could be part of like you just coming in to train with us. Like, wow, I actually have community now that I can talk to about this, share my challenges with them with it, share my ideas for how they could improve what they're doing, etc. But again, ideally you are attaching, or you have some sort of community that's helping you through this process as well. So for the skills, hey, did you get two skills for the week, right? So for the 7 days, maybe you did on day 1, you did 30 minutes. Maybe on day 4, you did another 30 minutes. Kind of keep track of it that way, right? The Warrior meetup, did you meet up with some folks one time within the week, right? Within the 7 days there, okay? Now, you'll notice also as we go down, some of the days, like 7, 14, 21, 28, they have asterisks near them, okay? Now, what that means is that it's a reminder for you. It's like, this is your challenge, all right? Based on what you've been doing for that past week, has what you've been doing been a real challenge for you, all right? So, for example, if you are already training in, going to the gym, right? Or even going here to our mats. You're doing that for an hour already, okay? For an hour a week, okay? Well, I mean, that's not really much of a challenge, because you've already been doing that. So you say, okay, well, maybe I'm going to add another 30 minutes to it. Well, do that for the week, and then at the end of the week, you kind of evaluate, okay, well, is that extra 30 minutes at the gym or on the mat, was that challenging for me to do? And did I do things there that were challenging? Yeah, okay, well, good, keep on doing it. If it wasn't, though, if it didn't meet the challenge mark for you, maybe you got to change it. Maybe you have to change it to 45 minutes or 60 minutes. Or maybe it's not the duration, maybe it's what you're doing. So say, for example, for your body, you're saying, okay, I'm going to do 50 push-ups every single day. Well, you do that for the week, and at the end of the week, evaluate, okay, was that really a challenge for me? Oh yeah, it was totally, it was almost too much. Well, in that case, maybe you want to bring it down to 30 push-ups, right? If it wasn't enough of a challenge, bring it up to 75 or 100, whatever it might be, all right? So that's what those asterisks mean there. It's like it's a reminder for you to kind of have some self-awareness of, are you really being challenged right now? Now, we just put it at 7 days. You can do that right away. Maybe after the first day, you're like, none of those are really too challenging for me. I could actually up my game. Well, in which case, you just do that on the fly, right? But at a bare minimum, do it on a weekly basis. That said, let me get into a little bit more detail about each of these things. So the next page over here is a series of questions. This is where you want to kind of establish what is it you're actually going to be doing for, in order to say, yes, I completed this task, right, on a daily or on a weekly basis. So the first question here is, how are you going to challenge your mind, right? Now, this is something kind of possibly an intellectual pursuit of yours. It may be such that you are reading more, right? Or maybe you're watching a documentary or whatever it might be. And just identify what the activity is and what the duration or reps or whatever it might be for that particular thing. So, for example, if you're doing an app, to learn a new language, maybe you're just checking in on that. You're doing it at least once a day. That might be enough for you. If it's too little time, then maybe you would attach a duration to it. It's like, okay, well, instead of just saying I'm going to do one lesson, it's like I'm going to stay on this app for at least 30 minutes to get the most, and that'll be a challenge for me. Or maybe like, okay, I'm going to go through a certain number of lessons within this course or whatever on a given day, right? So that could be some examples over here as far as reading, etc. Something to stimulate your mind, right? The next one here is how are you going to challenge your body. Now, there's a wide array of things you can do on this one. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, right? I just did a workout with one of my classes earlier this week, where it's like, okay, you're going to do this combo at 100% for this entire round. Okay, and I'll tell you, by the end of it, they were all just exhausted. right? Just physically, just done. Okay, we need to take a break, right? How long was that round? It's 2 minutes. So make it as challenging or not as challenging, whatever it is for you, right? But it doesn't mean that it has to require a ton of time. One thing I would recommend is, especially on this one, is really be honest with, okay, you started off with 50 push-ups, that's what I wanted to do. You've got to be aware, okay, is this enough of a challenge for me? And do that like more often, and then make sure that you make the adjustments as necessary, all right? Say, for example, you're doing push-ups, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really getting in, I'm starting to get really sore on this, maybe because of that old injury. Well, in that case, I wouldn't want you to continue to do the 50 push-ups. I would say find something else to do. Maybe it's walking, maybe it's I don't know what, hitting the bag for a little bit, okay? So be more aware, have more of that self-awareness, particularly in the physical stuff when you're challenging your body, right? Challenging your spirit, that's up to you. I mean, it could be a religious thing, it could be a kind of a spiritual thing in terms of like getting out to nature or meditating or whatever, but make sure you're feeding yourself on that front as well, whatever that means to you. Maybe it's just going out once a day and actually taking off your shoes and socks and touching grass to your feet, right? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's going to mass one more time a week, or actually going to church, I don't know. But what does spirituality mean to you? And honor that in some way on a daily basis, okay? As far as the training, I'd mentioned that earlier. Look, it's a new skill that you want to train. It doesn't have to be anything that is completely physical. It could be something mental. It could be like a little bit of both. Maybe you want to start taking up woodworking. I don't know, right? But that's something that you want to add another 2 hours of time to, during your week, if possible. I mean, if 2 hours is too much, I don't know. Do 1 hour, but like make sure that you're improving yourself in terms of like what are your skills overall as that kind of hits all the kind of mental, physical, spiritual in and of itself, right? And then finally, getting together with your warriors. I mentioned that it doesn't have to be in person. It could be just a phone call. It could be on a Zoom chat where you're live, on the computer. But at least once a week, connect with somebody on what you're doing there and what you're doing, what they're doing, and try to help each other out, right? One thing I would recommend, if possible, at least on the mind, body, and spirit, is if you have some sort of a baseline to work from, or you establish it, then at the end of it, you can see whether you have improved or not. So, for example, it's fairly simple on the body side of things. So, like, you're going to maybe do as many push-ups as you can in a 2-minute period. Right? So that's what you start off with. So it doesn't mean like the number of reps. It's like, hey, the countdown is going 2 minutes. I'm going to do whatever I can. Now, initially on the first day, you may start off with only 10, right? But at the end of the 30 days, maybe you end up within that 2 minutes, now you're doing 20. Right? So it's great to see that type of improvement. That's something you might be able to do with challenging your mind and your spirit as well, where, for example, with your mind, maybe you're, okay, I'm going to read as many pages as I can within this 30 minutes. How many did you do? Right? At the beginning of the 30 days. And at the end of the 30 days, oh my gosh, I read 50% more than I normally do, which is great, right? So you can kind of track that as well. So that's how you can kind of come up with what you're going to be doing for the 30 days, your actual like daily and weekly activities. The journal here, this is optional. It's something though that may help you maintain your focus all the way through the 30 days. Ask yourself in the morning, when you're brushing your teeth or whatever, what am I grateful for? Maybe you choose to write this stuff down as well. You have your own kind of like separate journal that you're writing all this stuff into. Second, what would make today a great day? So looking forward into the day, if I got a cappuccino, that'd be good, right? Oh, if someone bought me a coffee, that'd be great too, right? It doesn't have to be anything big. Yeah? What's a good affirmation for today? So that's the third question here you ask yourself in the morning. If you come up with a phrase, and it doesn't have to be something different every single day. It's like, something that can help you out, right? Times are tough right now, and I'm getting through it, right? Times are tough, and God is going to make my way. Something like that, where like you be able to remind yourself throughout the day, we're good. This is an affirmation, right? Then in the evening, kind of review your day. What were your highlights from the day? Again, doesn't have to be anything big. If it's big, it's great. Hey, I won the lotto. What a great day. It could be that, hey, I got a little bit of a lovey note from my kid. I'd say that's a good highlight, right? And then one more question is, what did I learn today? Now, this could be something from your skill that you're working on. It could be something from your reading. It could be something you just learned about yourself during the day. It's like, you know what? I have a tendency to want to grab a snack whenever I'm stressed. I don't know, something like that, right? But there's something that you can learn about yourself every single day, okay? And at the end, we have post-challenge questions. So at the end of the 30 days, you can ask yourself these review questions. You can obviously read them for yourself. But at the end of the 30 days, make sure you do that evaluation. At the end, if you are here locally, this is the address here to our studio, where you'll be able to come in and train with us up to 2 times a week. Again, either in our Krav Maga programs or our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. All you have to do is sign up to the front desk so you can sign the releases and all that, and then you'll be good to go. Guys, hopefully you got a better feel as to what this challenge entails. Make sure that you are still you've registered, you actually filled out the form that you are a part of the challenge, right? So that's at chosenmaa.com/warrior30. When you put in your name and number and email in there, you're going to get notifications from us, primarily over text, about the challenge. Maybe we changed something up, or maybe we have a question to ask you, or whatever. Just something to help you along the lines with the challenge. So just make sure that you get on that distribution list. We're only sending it out for that. We're not sharing it with anybody else. But just to make sure that you are plugged in to what we're doing in terms of the challenge for the next 30 days, right? And then that is it. If you want to post on social media, great. If you want to tag us, go ahead and do that too. But make sure this is meaningful for you. Stick with it for the 30 days. We'll see you on the mat. We'll see you on the challenge. Take care.